Welcome back to the off cycle. I've taken a little break from the Pursuit, working on the little 15-foot Sea Pro, my little inshore boat I picked up. So today, last night and today, I've been back on the Pursuit project, doing a little bit of fairing work, sanding and second coat of fairing compound on the transom, as well as running a bunch of wiring. I went ahead and ran wiring for the bilge, as well as a couple of other wires. So I'll have some spares, ran those all the way up through the bottom of where the console sits, as well as there's 4 speakers in this boat. They're all trash, so I may end up putting speakers back in here. So I went ahead and ran new speaker wire, and in 2 of the areas where I ran the speaker wire, I ran some additional power wire for potential LEDs up under the gunnels here, right here. To kind of illuminate the back of the boat, running out in the mornings or any night fishing or anything like that. So let's flip around and I'll show you where I got. So as far as the rubber matting, what I was concerned about obviously was that stuff sliding down. Like I mentioned in, I don't know if it was the last video or the one before that, I think it was the last video. So I put the really sticky tape on there, sitting in the sun. It just heated up, pulled away. It probably wouldn't have been a problem once the weight of the tank is in here, but I just wasn't comfortable with it. I want to try to keep this channel as open as I can. So what I did is I marked the 4th hole in every mat, drew a circle, and then just moved the mat, hit it with the, roughed it up with the flap disc on the angle grinder, and then mixed up some thickened epoxy. So I just dropped some thickened epoxy down in there, and that just creates a little cylinder that the mat can kind of hook to, and it can't. Like I'm pulling right here with all my might, and I can't pull this mat down. So it's down, it's lower than the rubber, so it won't rub on the tank or anything. Plus the tank doesn't even come this wide. There's a bit of a gap here. So this is gonna keep that mat from being able to slide down. So I'm much more comfortable with that. I really don't wanna get back into doing fiberglass stuff, but this is gonna give me peace of mind that it's not going to move. So this is the speaker holes, and I ran speaker wire. I have the speaker up here. That's the fuel tank access, and then there was one right here. So you can see I put the sheathing on a lot of the wiring that I do in my boats. I just think it makes it a lot more organized, and just protects the wiring and kind of makes it easier to pull too, because you don't have this rubber on rubber when you're trying to pull new wire. It slides much better along this stuff. So I have my small power wire here for the LED, and then heavy duty speaker wire. With the speaker wire that was in here was junk speaker wire. So that's what all these are. These right here, the 2 coming from this side, and they're long because they got to go across the tank, out that, and then up to the actual radio itself. Ground here, I did end up putting a new connection on this ground. It was jacked up. I don't have crimpers that big, so I crimped it as best I could with a wood clamp, and then heated up and just soldered the rest of it to keep it from pulling out. But this will go and ground the tank. So I'm about to go over and see if my neighbor's home to help me lift this tank in here finally and get this gas tank out of the driveway and up into the boat. Oh, I forgot to mention that one of the reasons I was delaying on getting this tank in here was this fill hose. I wanted to be able to get down in here and reach up underneath here to kind of feed this fill hose and this vent hose. So this is brand new fill hose and brand new vent hose. So these are in here now, which is now I'm kind of more comfortable going ahead and putting the tank in now. Before I go bother my neighbor to come over and help me lift this thing up. It's not super heavy. I just don't want to fumble with it and damage the gel coat or drop it and have it nick the gel coat or nick the boat. So it's more about doing it cautiously than it being heavy an item. But since it's been sitting out here in the driveway and it has been hot here in Jacksonville, I'm gonna go ahead and cool it down, because just touching it about burned my hand. All right, it has been a long time coming, but the fuel tank is finally in the Pursuit. Nice new 100-gallon fuel tank, coal tar epoxied, and ready to be secured in there. So I think kind of what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get some, basically some pool noodle and cut that to the widths and whatever I need. And I'm gonna kind of either 2 sections or 3 sections along the sides of the tank. I'm gonna have like a U shape of pool noodle that I'm gonna push down in there. And then with that being in there, it'll create a seal. So I have like a shape, and then I'm gonna pour some expanding foam in there. So this tank is gonna get foamed back in, but not fully foamed in like it was, which created an issue. It's gonna get foamed in just to kind of secure it side to side and front and back, and kind of adhere it so it doesn't, you know, flop around inside the boat in rough seas. But it's not going to be fully foamed in. It's still going to have tons and tons of drainage, so it's not going to trap any water. So I think doing it that way is going to be just fine, as well as the redesign of the bulkheads to allow much more water flow up underneath there will solve the issue, and this tank will last much longer. I mean, hell, the first tank being fully foamed in and uncoated lasted 20 years. So I don't think I'll have this boat for 20 years. It'll last me for my lifetime with the boat.